Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRFBets race of the day for Saturday, November the 10th, race number 8 at Aqueduct. It's the $150,000 Artie Schiller Stakes. You can play this race, you can play the entire card with a DRFBets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com, receive a 300% deposit match. Here's the field for the Artie Schiller. Again, we're going a mile on the turf, 3-year-olds and up for $150K, and you can access free formulator past performances for this race on the race of the day event page at drf.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post-position order, beginning with the number 1 Kerban, who won his North American debut from off the pace in the Grade 2 Bernard Baruch. Certainly was not embarrassed when third in the Shadwell Turf Mile last time out. Listen, a lot of folks are going to look at this horse and say he is a Grade 2, Grade 1 horse running in a listed stakes race. He's going to get a fast pace, and he's almost automatically the horse to beat.
Yeah, that is one way to look at him. It'll be interesting to see what he does, because I understand the thinking that he's run Grade 2, Grade 1 in his first 2 starts over here. He's run pretty well in both of those races, so maybe that's what he is. You know, we'll see. I liked his Baruch just fine. I thought he got a good trip in that race, but I also feel like he was really game to win it. I thought he ran fine in the Shadwell last time. He never looked like he was going to be a huge player in that race. He wound up getting up for third at the end. I'm not sure that I think the Shadwell's the strongest Grade 1 turf race we've seen so far this year. He's a huge contender in this race, Dan. I think there were a lot of horses in this race who sort of looked the same on paper. We'll see how they wind up betting it. I suppose at the morning line, he's actually a very fair price.
He finished ahead of Analyze It in the Shadwell Turf, and he came back to run a good third in the Breeders' Cup Mile with a 100 Beyer speed figure. So from a class standpoint, Kerban really fits for Kieran McLaughlin. The 2 is Profiteer. I believe Shug McGahee won this race last year with Fire Away, I think. Yeah. And Profiteer has somewhat of a similar profile coming into this race, a similar pattern, a horse that's getting good in the fall, like your typical Shug horse who gets better with age and experience. This will be his 3rd start of the form cycle. I know that you prefer Zenner coming out of that optional claiming race. You thought he had maybe a worse trip than Profiteer, but this horse is going the right way for Shug. I think the mile hits him between the eyes. I think a great trip is coming.
I think all those things are true. We'll see if he classes up, because I do think, even though this is only a listed stake, it's a pretty good one. I mean, there's some legit graded stakes quality horses in here, so we'll see if Profiteer's up for that. So far, he hasn't quite been up for races like that. I thought he ran fine last time. He got a really good trip. I thought Zenner ran the better race, but even if that's the case, this horse still ran well. I guess you have to reconcile the race 2 starts back, because he was no match for Black Type in that race, with a perfect trip, sitting right alongside Black Type that day, and was no match for that horse. How is he going to turn the tables on that horse this time, I guess, is the question.
Big price on the number 3, Backside of the Moon, who is returning to turf after competing primarily for the last year and a half on the dirt. And he's had success on the dirt, a stakes winner on dirt, graded stakes placed on the dirt. And while he has won on turf in the past, you get the feeling that Leo O'Brien's doing a little bit of a rain dance here. Yeah. I'm not sure he's good enough on turf to take these down. The last time he ran on the surface was way back in the summer of 2017 at Saratoga, where he was in against the aforementioned Fireway and Mook Taser. He's been in against good horses on turf.
No, he hasn't. He's in against good horses on turf again. He's a big price in this race, so I'm not going to knock him if we're on turf. He's a better dirt horse, though. And his dirt form, you know, quite honestly, very lately is not up to his really good races. I want to see if he can turn it around. I don't know if they're trying to shake him up in this race and get him back on turf, or if they're hoping it comes off.
But the one time they went dirt to turf, it resulted in a 16-1 score over Fire Away and Highland Sky back at Belmont in May. The number 4 is Black Tide. Had to expect Black Tide's one of the speeds in this race. We take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector. They concur. They have Black Tide out in front. He went gate to wire at 28-1 in the Ashley T. Cole 2 starts back. Last time out in the Mohawk, that was a very fast pace, going a mile and a 16th. He did not have the easy lead he enjoyed in the Ashley T. Cole, and he paid the price. I'm willing to draw a line through that effort. The question is, against these better open class horses, even with an easy lead, can he wire this field? I think at a price you got to respect him.
I agree with that. He's always dangerous, because he's a horse, when he gets out in front of you, he can run the kind of race that would make him very tough to run down. He was denied the lead last time, and that was all they wrote. Personally, there was a lot of speed in that race. I was surprised this horse couldn't clear, because he's really fast, but it worked against him. His race 2 starts back, that's what he tends to do when he's really good. He'll just clear off on you, go as fast as he can, and then sometimes he's really difficult to catch. I feel like these horses are going to be too good for him, Dan, but he's always a dangerous horse.
Black Type, the 5, we have sitting in a really nice spot behind the 4. Black Tide, was the beaten favorite in the Artie Schiller last year. He's coming into this race in similar form, off 2 wins, including a win in the Grade 2 Knickerbocker. He won the Knickerbocker in gate-to-wire style. I thought he had to go fairly quickly over that good turf course to do it, and he held off a nice one in High Happy late. You can argue he did that despite the mile and an eighth being a little bit far for him. He doesn't need the lead to win, and with the Clement trained horses, you kind of want him in behind horses, or at least Christophe does, and I think that's the plan for Black Tide. He's going to let Black Tide go. He's probably going to let the 10 Dr. Edgar go. He's going to sit third, and he's going to take his shot. Yeah,
I mean, he's won wire to wire on his last 2 starts, but he ain't making the lead in this race, and I think that's fine. He'll sit in behind. He's got plenty of races that suggest he's a serious contender in here. I don't think the cut back to a mile works against him. I'm with you. I feel like a mile and eighth could be a little far. I wonder if a mile could be a little short for him. We'll find out. He's running this race each of the last 2 years, and he's done it off of good races in the Knickerbocker both times. He hasn't won either of those races. We'll see if he can get it done this time.
The number 6 Bricks and Mortar could very well be the key to this race, because the 3-year-old version of Bricks and Mortar that we saw in 2017 was a horse on the come, a horse that had the potential to be one of the better 3-year-old turf horses in the nation. We have not seen him now for 399 days. Obviously something went wrong, but when we last saw him in the Hill Prince, he had a terrible trip in a race that produced 5 next out winners, one of them being Yoshida, and we know how Yoshida progressed in 2018. This is a horse that did have some bad trips and some bad luck last year, and it's all a question of how short a price do you want to take off this lengthy layoff.
Yeah, that's the only reason I really didn't put him on top. I actually think this horse is really good.
I agree.
And I feel like he's the one that you want to keep an eye on going forward, because if all is well with him and he can still run, he's going to be a big player going into next year. He's a really good horse. He won the first 4 starts of his career, and you could argue he was best in the 2 races he didn't win. He did not have easy trips either time. He's really good, Dan. He's been away for a long time, and he's such a short price on the morning line that I couldn't take him on top, but he's a dangerous horse in here.
Proforma is the 7, and he's going to stretch out around a router ground for the first time in his career. This will be start number 12. The good news for Proforma is this is something Michael Stidham has done very well, as we see from this formulator fact. Over the past 4 years, with older turf horses moving from sprint to route off a minor layoff, we've got 35% wins and a $4 return on investment. Proforma got a nice strip and ride by Joe Bravo to win the Kentucky Downs Turf Sprint 2 starts back, just sneaking up along the inside to win that race. Last time out, I'm not going to hold a loss to Disco Partner against him. He came back to run 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint last week with a 94 buyer, but the question is, can this horse go a mile, a 2-turn mile?
Yeah, go a 2-turn mile and do it against some really quality horses too. I mean, there's a lot working against Proforma in this race. He's a pretty good turf sprinter. Is he a good turf miler against horses like this? I don't know. He'll be a good price in this race.
I'm not sure if DeLarn is good enough. He's 30 to 1 on the morning line, but I wonder if he could sneak into the exotics, the tries, the supers at a price. He ran, I thought, okay, better than it looks in the Red Bank 2 starts back. Last time out in that Baltimore-Washington Turf Cup, I think that was kind of a race where you wanted to make one of the last moves, and he made one of the first moves into the teeth of the pace on that yielding going, and then he backed up. The problem with DeLarn is he's just not fast enough on paper.
Yeah, his races so far, especially against a field like this, you know, it just happened to come up a listed stake that's really tough. So maybe it's too tough for him, but I think he is a little underrated. He's going to be a huge price again.
Projected is fast enough to win this race. In his last 5 races, he's earned buyers of 99 or above in 4 of them, and the one he didn't was that Baltimore-Washington Turf Cup. And I have to be honest with you, that was a very disappointing loss for a horse that likes to run second. 11 times second from 24 starts in his career. It looked like he had the measure of long shot Dr. Mounty in the stretch, and he just couldn't get by. He's going to get a good pace and trip set up here, I would think, from the back of the pack.
It looked like he was going by in that race last time. Now, Dr. Mounty got the jump on him, and you could see Joe Bravo head to alter course a couple different times, but it still looked like he was getting there, Dan. And then when he got there, right at the end, he didn't get by. That's been projected. That's the story of his life so far. From Post 9, I think IRAD is taking him back in this race and making one run. We'll see if it works.
All of Dr. Edgar's route races on turf have been good.
Yeah.
His last race, he won by 5. I know it was only against entry-level allowance horses, but he showed really nice tactical speed that day. He handles any kind of ground. He is in career form. The question is, if he's placed in chase mode with a horse like Black Tide, a very fast horse like Black Tide, do you think there's a situation where he overhauls Black Tide and then holds off some quality closers as he steps up in class? He's sharp, he's a good price, but I think the pace situation kind of works against him.
I think it's a big ask for him to do exactly what you just said, and it feels like that's the way this race will be run. I think it's asking a lot of this horse, but he has been in really good form this year.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Artie Schiller Stakes, the Saturday DRFBets race of the day. We agree with Black Type. At the morning line price, I would play Black Type. David's got him at 9-2. I have a feeling he's going to be a little bit shorter than that. It's post time. I think Kurban gets bet. I wonder how the folks are going to take to bricks and mortar after almost 400-day layoff. 9-2. I'd lock that in on Black Type. You're going 5-9, 6-1. How are you playing this?
Yeah, it'll be interesting because this was one of those races where I thought it was tough to separate the top 3 or 4 choices. I don't want a short price on anybody in this race. I do, if Black Type with you, if he's around that price, I think he's actually good value in this race. I don't know if he'll be that price at post time. I would take it if he was. I don't want a short price on anybody in this race.
5-9-6-1 for Mike, 5-6-1-2 for me in the Artie Schiller Stakes, your Saturday race of the day presented by DRFBets. Sign up for a new DRFBets account, receive a 300% deposit match. Deposit 50, bet with 200. Approximate post time for the Artie Schiller, 150 grander at the Big A on Saturday, 3:47 Eastern. Good luck.